Good evening, Sports Beat fans, and welcome to the second episode of the spring semester. And boy, do we have a jam-packed show for you tonight, starting with the NBA. We break down the latest in hoops. After that, we take you across the pond for a Premier League update. From there, freshman sensation Drew Bogardus of the men's lacrosse team joins us live in studio for an interview. We then keep our eye on the pride with what's roaring and boring in Hofstra athletics. Then we bring you this month's edition of the Pride Weekly Update, followed by our Pride Top 5. Finally, we go behind the scenes of Hofstra's wrestling's unique warm-up routine. And lastly, we crown our Athlete of the Month. So don't go anywhere because Sports Beat starts right now! Well, this NBA season has been a shocking one, to say the least. Here to break it down with me are Joe Pergola and Thomas Ithier. Guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, the Lakers have had a great season after the Luka trade, now have one of the hardest schedules remaining in the NBA, and now LeBron James is injured. Are the Lakers still contenders the rest of the season?
I mean, the Lakers have been a bit of a more contender ever since the start of the season, of course. I mean, you look at the Lakers, they have been absolutely phenomenal ever since they got someone like Luka Doncic. I mean, the Luka trade has helped them phenomenally. Luka and LeBron have been gelling as they possibly can. And really, the only thing that has me concerned is, of course, the way that J.J. Redick might actually perform. I mean, J.J. Redick hasn't had any coaching experience at any level whatsoever. And down in a rough patch in the playoff series, you need a head coach that's going to rein you in. So that's my biggest concern with the Lakers.
I mean, guys, let's think about this for a second. The 40-year-old you've been relying on all year to get wins is now not on the team anymore. How is this team going to succeed for the rest of the season? Yeah, they played good with Luka and LeBron together, but now one of your star guys is out. You don't have the depth to compete with other top teams in the West. I'm predicting a quick and swift fall in the standings for the Lakers.
Now, the Bucks team that won the championship just a couple years ago, they've been having a pretty good season, but can they be contenders in this NBA?
Let me tell you, Jake, as long as you have Giannis leading your squad, you are a contender. Yeah. We saw it back in 2021. This man has the chops to lead you to an NBA Finals. And now you've got Damian Lillard as well, finally giving Milwaukee what they want. He's having a great under-the-radar year. This too, as long as they're clicking, I don't see any reason why they're not a threat in the East.
I think Joe might be stuck in 2021. I mean, personally, I don't see any way that the Bucks are going to get over this hump. There's a lot more teams that are performing a lot better than the Bucks, and honestly, the Bucks are really inconsistent this season. Sure, you look at them one season, or you look at them 1 week, they're going on a 5-6 game winning streak, and then they're going on a same 6-game losing streak as well. Look at the game yesterday against the Pacers. That was a last game shot that Halliburton managed to win against the Bucks, and really, the Bucks shouldn't let that ever get to that point. So therefore, I don't see the Bucks actually getting over any hump or actually doing any sort of damage this season.
I will say, Tom, you brought up J.J. Redick for the Lakers and his coaching performance. The one thing I am concerned about for Milwaukee is Darvin Ham's and Doc Rivers' performance. I mean, you saw the picture, Darvin Ham, hands in pockets as Tyrese Halliburton hit that game winner. So that's going to be a bit of a concern. But again, I think Giannis can lead this team to glory.
Well, another team that's been doing amazing has both been the Thunder and the Nuggets. After the Thunder blew out those Nuggets, have we finally decided who the MVP of this league is?
Of course we have. And it is no other than SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, you look at this, you look at how the way he's been playing this season. He has been lights day in and day out. He's been putting phenomenal numbers. The lead league scorer, and he hasn't turned it up. He hasn't absolutely turned it off one bit. Every time he touches the court, he's doing something phenomenal, and I think it's going to have to go to SGA.
Someone called the doctor. Tom has a bad case of voter fatigue. Yes, SGA is having an amazing season, but Jokic is having a historic season. I don't care that he's already won 3 MVPs. This man is putting up a near 30-point triple-double, doing everything he can to keep Denver atop the standings in the West. And they've been winning a lot of games with a mediocre supporting cast. Nobody contributes more to their team than Nikola Jokic.
Jokic is definitely going to be a great player to watch the rest of the season. Thunder have been on top of that Western Conference. Do the Thunder have anything left to prove?
Of course they do. I mean, come on. This is a team that was the 1 seed already, and we're not able to get to the finals. Why do we think anything might be different this year? Of course, I think that they are a very strong contender, but we're going to see, can that translate into the playoffs? We don't know that for sure. So, of course, I do think they have yet left to prove.
And I got to agree with Joe on that. I mean, honestly, this team was number one, like Joe just mentioned. And they have, like I said, the MVP, who this team is a very young core, and we have to see how they play in the playoffs. And I think, although they haven't really had that much experience gelling together in the postseason, and sure, they fell on their face to who would eventually go to the finals last season, I just think that this team isn't going to lay down for anybody this season. And their goal this season has to be to win an NBA championship.
Locally to here, a lot of New York fans in the crowd wearing jerseys on our crew here tonight. Knicks 0-9 against top 4 teams in the NBA. Brunson's hurt. What do you think this team needs to do to be in contention and get over that hump to make it to a conference finals?
Go ahead, Tom.
I mean, honestly, this team has to, right now, if we're going to even talk about them being into the playoffs, and if they're even have a talk about them going anywhere farther, they're going to need someone like Jalen Brunson back on their court. Jalen Brunson, when you looked at that team and you looked at how Jalen Brunson went down in overtime with a minute to go left in overtime, that team looked absolutely distraught. They didn't know how to gel together. They didn't know how to get the ball rolling and how to move the ball correctly. They took about 20 seconds off the clock and then for Anunoby to finally score and not even make the free throw. So they're going to need their leader, their captain, on the court if they're going to even have a chance to actually gel.
Joe?
Jake, you're asking what can this team do? What they could have done already passed when the trade deadline came. This team needs personnel. It's the same problem they had last year. They do not have the depth to keep up with these guys. And my good friend Alan Hahn at ESPN and MSG Network says Tom Thibodeau is not the guy to blame for this team's injuries. And maybe he's not. But maybe he's the guy to blame as to why this team does not have the depth they need to compete for a championship.
Well, the Knicks have been rebuilding since Nixon was president, so we'll see if this is finally the year they're able to get over the hump. Guys, thank you so much. That'll do it for the NBA. We now head over to the pitch as Cameron Campbell brings you your Premier League update.
Hello, Sports Beat fans. The Premier League is as exciting as ever, but there's one team well above the rest. Liverpool has a dominant hold over the league in points, making them the top club this season. Along with being at the top of the Premier League, the Reds also have the top performer this season in Mohamed Salah. Salah leads the Premier League in both goals and assists with no signs of slowing down. The team that sits in second place is Arsenal. They're 25 points behind Liverpool for lacking a goal scorer in the top 10. This club sits 5th in the league with total goals, and that is thanks to Bukayo Saka, who is 3rd in the league with assists. Behind Arsenal is Nottingham Forest. Despite hitting a bit of a rough patch, they are still in the running for a Champions League spot. Chris Wood has emerged as the team's top goal scorer. He has scored 18 goals so far this season. Finally, we have Chelsea and Man City, who are neck and neck for Champions League qualifications. Erling Haaland has been a scoring machine for Man City over the last few seasons, and this season is no different. Haaland currently sits 2nd in the league in goals, and there seems to be no end in sight for the Terminator. For Chelsea, despite being 4th in the league, the always cold Cole Palmer continues to be a bright spot for the team, as they currently sit with 14 goals this season. As the season's winding down, you definitely don't want to take your eye off another thrilling close to the season. And with your Premier League update, I'm Cameron Campbell.
Welcome back to Sports Beat. Joining me now is Drew Bogardus of the men's lacrosse team, who is already tearing it up in his first year here at Hofstra. Let's take a look at some of his highlights thus far. Thank you. Welcome back. Now, Drew, before we start going into and chatting about what's happening with men's lacrosse, let's talk about you for a second. You're originally from Sheffield, Massachusetts, right? Your mom played hockey at UNH. Your dad also played lacrosse in college, and your grandfather even played lacrosse at Yale. How has that shaped you into the athlete that you are today?
Yeah, I mean, definitely just growing up, being around sports. I started playing hockey when I was 2 years old. Definitely took after my mom with that. And then just started getting into more organized sports. Started playing soccer, and then lacrosse was actually the last sport I picked up. I picked that up in probably 5th grade. And then, yeah, I considered myself more of a hockey player until probably freshman year of high school, maybe sophomore year of high school. And then just fell in love with the sport. Yeah, from there, just lacrosse.
So let's go into that a little bit deeper. Why did you say no to hockey and yes to lacrosse?
Yeah, I would say just the amount of creativity and the amount that I can, on my own time, develop skills in lacrosse. I started getting kind of frustrated with hockey, how I have to, there has to be ice time at your disposal. So being able to, I live at a boarding school, and I've grown up there, so I can just go in my backyard pretty much and go down there, shoot around, try new stuff, and just always getting better, which is really fun.
Just made it a lot easier for you to really work on those skills, right, that you took with you right into high school. I mean, your senior year, 66 points, junior year, 70 points. Dude, you were an absolute demon, man. How has that translated over here into Division I lacrosse?
Yeah, I think I've always tried to not really focus on the numbers, just because I think senior year especially, it kind of got in my head. Kind of just feels like there's like a standard on yourself, but I would say playing at Berkshire School, I was going against some of the best guys in the country every game, so it just gave me the confidence playing against, right when I stepped on campus, just feeling like I can play against these guys too. And
you kept that momentum, and now you keep rolling with that momentum here, playing for the Pride. I mean, Baba Booey, dude, you got 18 goals so far in your first season. How was it gelling into an actual Division I program, and were there any players or a coach in particular that really helped you, find your mold?
Yeah, I mean, for me it was pretty easy just because right when I stepped on campus, the guys were just so nice, and the culture here is just amazing. Like, I felt like I was best friends with even the older guys right away, so that made it, kind of gave me confidence right off the bat, so it made it easy. And yeah, I'd say there's guys like Anthony Malika, Gerard Kane, they're older guys who play the same position as me, and that can be kind of a tough thing to deal with, and they've been like the nicest guys to me, so.
The Pride's currently 5-2, Drew, and you're outscoring opponents 83-59, which, by the way, that's just insane, right? How would you rate your performance so far this year, or I should say the team's performance so far this year? And is there anything you guys can improve on?
Yeah, I think we've been playing well. I don't think we've been playing our best at all, and we've been pretty focused on that in practice. We definitely, our offense has been playing really well, and our defense has been playing well. Everybody's doing really well, but I think we have a lot of room to improve, and hopefully we ramp it up for conference play, which starts Saturday.
Now, Drew, I know you might be a first-year athlete, but you have to be looking forward to this Saturday, right? It's the Battle of Long Island. The Pride's taking on Stony Brook. Has Coach Tierney or anyone else on the team, told you what your mindset should be heading into that game, or any game, for that matter?
They kind of try to let you figure it out. Kind of say Coach Tierney definitely chirps me a little bit to try to get me ready for it, for the competition. He tries to, get in my head so that the other team can't, which is really nice. So, yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about the game Saturday. I think it'll be super cool.
Well, Drew, thank you so much for joining us here on Sports Beat. As for everyone else, we're going to be back in just a few moments, so don't go anywhere.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how's sketches, baby? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes, look at that. You even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you have to get it trending. Right, Backpack Kid?
Let's do it.
First, invite your kid to do the vape talk. Let's try this. All right.
Why is he here?
Yeah, I gotta get it trending, honey.
Come on.
To the left. To the right. Let's go.
Oh, honey, can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
I see a lot of your friends vaping.
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Welcome back, Sports Beat fans. Joe Pergola, Thomas Ithier join me once again to bring you what is roaring and boring in Hofstra athletics. Thank you so much for staying with me here for Roar and Boar. So first question for y'all. After an early exit in the CAA championship, is it too early for Hofstra to move on from Speedy Claxton?
Of course it's too early. Come on, the man's only been here a few years. He's a former NBA talent from this alma mater, and he's done great things with this team. Yeah, they haven't exactly reached the CAA tournament success they would have liked, but look at the likes of Aaron Estrada, Tyler Thomas, who have signed deals with the NBA in some way, shape, or form. I mean, that's great success for a mid-major school like Hofstra.
Yeah, much of the same. I'm going to have to give this a bore. I mean, you look at Speedy Claxton, he's never had a terrible season. Yeah, this season, it didn't go the way that they planned. It didn't go the way a lot of people planned. You still have the amount of talent that he's managed to coach, and you still have a very decent lineup with this team that he can very much still be a very good head coach for the upcoming years now.
Hofstra women's basketball playing William & Mary tomorrow at noon. Will Hofstra women's basketball make it back to the quarterfinals in the CAA?
I might have to give this a bore. I mean, at first I was very, very high on them, but honestly, this team, they haven't had the best success as opposed to last season. I mean, if you're going into this game, I'm not certain that they're going to be very as far and as depth as they were last season. So I'm going to have to give this a bit of a bore.
Joe?
I'm going to have to give it a bore as well. Now, there's two sides to this coin. This was the best finish for the women's basketball team in the past few years. They finished as the 6th seed in the standings. But you look at what they did last year, that was kind of a miracle run, getting all the way to the quarterfinals. They had to win 3 games to get there. And now you're out of your best player in Chloe Sterling, arguably your best player. I just don't know if they can recreate that same kind of magic that they did last year.
Fair enough. Thank you so much once again, Joe and Thomas. Staying with Hofstra, Michelle Rabinovich has your Pride Weekly Update.
Hey Sports Beat fans, I'm Michelle Rabinovich, and the Pride have a jam-packed weekend ahead. Let's get right into it. Down in D.C., the women's basketball team squares off against the College of William & Mary tomorrow in the CAA Championship Tournament. Hofstra, the number 8 seed, enters the tournament on a 5-game win streak, and if the Pride conquers the 9th-seeded Tribe, they will have the tough task of taking on the number 1 seed in North Carolina, A&T. Match times are set for 12 p.m. tomorrow and 12 p.m. on Friday. Heading west, the baseball team travels to Ohio to take on the Kent State Golden Flashes in a 3-game series this weekend. The boys in blue and gold have struggled to begin the year as they have suffered consecutive losses against Tennessee, Kentucky, and UAlbany. Currently 6-10 on the season, the Pride has a chance to change this narrative against Kent State. Game times are set for 3 p.m. on Friday, 3 p.m. on Saturday, and 1 p.m. on Sunday. Staying on the diamond, the softball team hosts the Towson Tigers in a 3-game series this weekend. The Pride have had a rough start to the season as they currently have a 1-16 record, the second worst in the CAA. The Blue Crew will have their work cut out for them as they face off against a Towson team that is hungry to get back in the win column after their series loss to Elon. Game times are set for 5 p.m. on Friday, 1 p.m. on Saturday, and noon on Sunday. In our backyard, both the men's and women's lacrosse teams open conference play on home territory. On Friday, the women's lacrosse team will face off against the Delaware Blue Hens, who have struggled to find consistency early in the season. On Saturday, the men's team matches up against Long Island rival, the Stony Brook Seawolves, who are coming off of a close defeat against Binghamton. The women's match is set for 5 p.m. on Friday, and the men's will compete at 7 p.m. on Saturday. For more information on schedules, live streams, and more, visit GoHofstra.com.
Well, women's basketball plays tomorrow at noon. Spring sports are heating up. Hofstra sports are feeling alive, so let's head in to that Pride Top 5. Let's go in here now with our number 5 play with that Pride Top 5. Let's go. Let's go. Our nation's capital, men's basketball playing Monmouth in round 2 of the CAA championship. Cruz Davis drives with power, drawing extra attention on that basket. Hands it out to Gene-R, and Gorin finds the back of the rim. So nice. I'll show you twice. Let's see. Cruz was able to blow through that defender, but he falls in under a trap. You watch Gene here. He's moving. He catches that ball, and you can't stop Gene. He's the mean Gene shot-making machine. 34% from behind the arc, but wasn't enough because they would lose this game 68-62. Ending their season. Softball, Texas playing Baylor. Mackenzie Fitzgerald at bat. Could it be her first career home run? Yes, it is in college. Let's see that again. The Mineola High alum slams the barrel on the ball, swing drive, left field, pucker up, and kiss that one goodbye in the Gettleman Classic. Softball hosts Towson this Friday again at 5. You can see her running around. This is a high point in the Gettleman Classic. That's a good moment. First career home run. Men's Lax visiting UNC. Anthony starts behind the net, passes it out. Trey Parks attacks the shot, boogies around. A Boogie with a hoodie announced as Springfest. He's boogieing around there. He scores. You see that. Anthony passes. Beautiful pass here. The UNC alum, Trey. It's Trey Day, baby. He moves around. He attacks. He does a fake left. Goes to his right. Shoots with power. Shkaboom. That's it right there. He's North Carolina native. That must have felt good. They're going to host Stony Brook this Saturday at 7. Women's hoop hosting Stony Brook for Senior Day. Seawolves made a miscalculation, leaving good and open. Big mistake. Huge. Let's see that again. The Canadian fires from the logo. Let's see that right there. Splash. Nothing but net. They came back to Raleigh against their Long Island rival. They'll play again tomorrow at noon. Let's root for them. Pride Baseball, number 1 play. Bottom 6, up 16, 0-1 count. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Luke Masic's second grand slam of the game makes it 20-0. Let's catch that again. This was second grand slam. I mean, how many grand slams you got? I mean, I got too many options because this one wasn't option enough to shoot it to being a mercy rule. He can't be stopped. They'll play Kent at 3 p.m. Oh my goodness. He hit 2 home runs today. Their game that they had at 3 p.m. For more information, come on, check out the games because that's your Pride Top 5. Don't go anywhere because SportsBeat will be right back after this.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back, SportsBeat folks. Our very own Olivia Helsted recently caught up with the wrestling team to find out how they prepare for a match. Let's take a look.
Welcome into the Hofstra Wrestling Room for another exciting game of handball. It's shirts and skins once again for this pre-practice matchup. I'm Olivia Helsted here to break down the top 5 plays. At number 5, we've got some impressive passing here. Arbite over to Conlon, covers the ball. A little fake here on Schindel over to Strobel, takes some steps over to Volpe, and bang! Right past Sands in goal. Let's watch that one more time. Arbite over here. Conlon gets the ball. A little fake here on Schindel, over to Strobel. Gets it over to Volpe. And 1 and 2, bang! Throws it home. Here's number 4. Look at McFarland. Bam! Right past Sands. Watch that one more time. McFarland really using his steps here. 1, 2, and just sends a rocket into the goal. At number 3, let's look at this one. Charlie with the pass, fumbled. Clark recovers it though. Over here, over to Waddell. It's Sands with the save. Gets his body right in front of the ball. Here's number 2, some good teamwork in this one. There's an attempt at a turnover, but Volpe gets it to Schindel, over to Shirley, bam! touch that one more time. Good attempt at a turnover here. Volpe recovers the ball. Gets it over to Schindel. Schindel over to Turley. And he'll just send it. And at number 1, Hoyle with the long pass to Schindel. Bam! Right past Miller. We get a replay on that. Hoyle recovers the ball. Long throw over to Schindel. Schindel just sends it home. And that's it for our top 5 plays of this round of Hofstra Wrestling Handball.
Thank you once again to Olivia and the wrestling team. Now it's time to crown our Athlete of the Month. Once again, joining me, Joe Pergola and Thomas Ithier. Guys, hit me. Who are the Athletes of the Month?
Mine's going to have to be Cruz Davis.
Okay.
I mean, sure, their season didn't pan out. Sure, they wish they could have done a lot better. But I feel like Jean-Aaron Guerin, who is the team's leader as the point guard, Cruz Davis, I feel like, doesn't get enough credit. I mean, 14.4 points a game. And you even showed the clip before it, too. Yeah. He is like the perfect duo and the perfect Batman and Robin duo to Jean-Aaron Guerin. So I'm going to have to give it to Cruz Davis.
Hit me, Joe.
Thomas, my brother, you have fallen for the mainstream media narrative because it is obviously Nikki Minella, the Athlete of the Month. Let's look at this. 40 points on the season. She's leading the conference. 20 goals, 20 assists in only 6 games. Let me tell you something. They've been playing for a month. She has 3 CAA Offensive Player of the Week awards. Tell me how she's not Athlete of the Month.
Joe, I got to agree with you. She is the Athlete of the Month. You're leading the CAA, you're leading the conference. She had 2 goals, 3 assists in that game against the Big Ten Titan Rutgers. I got to go with Nikki. I'm sorry, that's a great pick. We got a lot of great players here at Hofstra, and that'll do it for this edition of Sports Beat. But before we go, there are plenty of thanks to go around. First off, Joe Pergola, Thomas Ithier, who took you through the NBA, brought you through what was roaring and boring in Hofstra sports, and crowned your Athlete of the Month. Cameron Campbell and Michelle Rabinovich brought you updates from the Premier League and the Pride. And a special thank you to Drew Bogardus of the men's lacrosse team. Come on now, for joining us today on our very own Antonio Schoenhardt live in studio. And thank you to the Hofstra wrestling team for a special inside look. I've been your host, Jake Epstein. And remember, Hofstra fans, to always roar with pride.